All right, it's that time of year, time for Mark Rogers TV to dive into the NFL draft. So we haven't done any draft coverage to date, so we figure we start with the best. We get off to a great start, and we do it right. We bring in Rick Saratella from the NFL Draft Bible. Rick, how you doing today?
Doing great, Mark. 17 days away, but who's keeping track, right?
Well, you keep track. You are the guy to keep track. The rest of us listen to you. So we could do all sorts of stuff here. We could talk NFL draft all day, and that's what you do, and that's where people need to find you, definitely with the NFL Draft Bible. But let's hit the glamour positions. Everyone's talking quarterback with Deshaun Watson, as impressive as he was in college. How's that going to translate? We know that he's going to be most likely a decent player, but is he going to be a great player? Mitchell Trubisky, going to have to make the correction on that and teach myself to do it in the future. Deshaun Kaiser, some other guys in play. So Watson and Trubisky, they appear to be the two guys. Your thoughts about where they could go and why some camps like Trubisky better than Watson?
Yeah, I think, we'll take them one at a time. And it's funny because this year's quarterback class is not quote unquote sexy, and we don't have the franchise signal caller. But I think at the end of the day, what you're going to see is probably, because of need, 5 or 6 quarterbacks in the top 50 or so picks. And I think Watson and Trubisky, they're probably the two guys. Now, Trubisky, I think, is the guy with the limited amount of work, a short resume, probably doesn't have as much film as Watson, who's a high performer, has a bunch of film, and laid that down. And I think Watson maybe made up a little ground at the NFL scouting combine. I'm not too into those kind of things personally. I feel like, what they did on the game film is really their resume. And yeah, the combine and the pro days are nice, but at the end of the day, it's a gym shorts and t-shirts type of affair. And Watson, I think where you get a little concerned is the turnovers, the decision-making. Probably throws the deep ball better than Trubisky. That's one of the things is Mitch Trubisky's that short to intermediate accuracy, and you see how the NFL is played right now. That's critical, really, in a passing league that really features a lot of short to intermediate passing. I think that's the love affair with Trubisky, and you hear the Browns making a late push for Garoppolo. But if not, you come around at number 12, they've got to find some kind of solution to that quarterback problem there at number 12. And I think both of those guys should be off the board by that 12th pick.
Because, Rick, I think what's difficult for people that just watch a ton of college football but don't break down the game tape or don't have the knowledge to do so is that Trubisky would have to spin it a whole lot better than Watson to make up for a lot of things. Number one, athleticism, breaking contain, being a threat to the defense on the move. Number two, in the biggest spot in college football, 2 consecutive years, showing up against arguably, the best defense we've seen in the last several years in college football, and doing it in the last 2 minutes with all the pressure on the line, and Trubisky never being in that kind of moment, showing up against that kind of defense with the limited resume that you mentioned. Can he spin it that much better, more accurately to make up for all that Watson's proven? So that seems to be the difficult concept for a lot of people to get past, including myself to a certain extent.